Here, I'm going to use this as my podium, okay? Good. Yeah, you'll get the best view, actually. Well, first of all, good morning, everybody. What I usually like to try to do as best as possible, or at least as quickly as possible, is to try to get a quick understanding as to who I'm actually speaking to here. So what I'd like to do is I'd like you to write down on a piece of paper in front of you somewhere, and if you don't have a piece of paper, that's fine. You can just think about it. Write one of the following shapes: a circle, a triangle, a square, or a Z. Circle, triangle, square, or a Z. Now, this is going to say a lot about you to me, so make sure that you give it a little bit of thought and then put the first thing that pops down in your head. If you can't think of something, that says something about you as well. Got it? Okay, circles, raise your hands. Interesting, okay. I'd say about a little more than a third of the group. Circles tend to be very out-of-the-box thinkers. They tend to enjoy people a lot. They don't like, sharp edges or anything that boxes them in. As a result, you tend to be a particularly undisciplined group of individuals. So if that resonates with you. By the way, I would have probably raised my hand for a circle. How about the triangles? Raise your hands. Keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. Anybody sitting next to a triangle, just be careful, all right? Triangles will do anything to get to the top of an organization as quickly as possible. They're the most ruthless and blindly ambitious people in this room. Make sure that before you leave here, you get their names and email addresses to keep in touch with them in the future. How about she's so proud of herself, Rachel, here. She's like, that's me. How about the squares? Raise your hand. Oh, come on. It's nothing to be ashamed of. The world needs accountants too. It's perfect. Squares are the disciplined individuals in this room. They're the individuals that don't mind process. They don't mind analytics. These are the individuals that every one of you circles desperately need to have as your best friend and partner, because you need this kind of organizational discipline around you. Now the Z's. The Z's. Oh, no. Don't raise your hands. What's your name? Sherry. See, Sherry, I would have never asked you to raise your hand, Sherry, because it would be too embarrassing to anybody here in the room to be called a Z. Z's, just preoccupied with booze and sex. I mean, there's no, we're trying to find socially redeeming value, but we haven't been able to find any yet. So now I've just traumatized a third of the room, which is really kind of fun. But seriously, that was just an icebreaker. Don't think that you're destined for the gutter as a result of putting the Z's. When I wrote that book, which are there books available or they're going to be given out or something? They are. You all should have read it already. Wow, fantastic. So when the book was originally written, the title was different. The title was "You Can't Get There Alone." You can't get there alone. And unfortunately, the publisher thought that was too wimpy. They sort of thought it was like a Lifetime Channel movie of the week or something. So they decided to pump it up, and we created something a little bit more edgy. But I think that's the message that I want to try to communicate to all of you today. Everything that you want to achieve between now and the end of your lives, you'll do so with and through other people. All of the great successes you've had to date. I talk to a lot of students, and in the process of doing so, I often find that students feel that they have to do it alone. I'm not going to take, that help from my parents. I'm going to do this thing myself. I need to prove this, etc. I can only say one thing to that. Bullshit. At the end of the day, your responsibility is to tap into the resources around you for your personal success. I get so frustrated sometimes with young people because when I was your age, I don't know what kind of socioeconomic background some of you came from, but some of you know mine. I mean, my dad was a steel worker, my mom was a cleaning lady. And I didn't have an opportunity to have aunts and uncles who could have got me summer internships or friends of family or parents who could help me, etc. And I used to look with great envy to my friends who had that kind of access. And then I would get so frustrated with my own friends who would say to me, oh, I'm going to do this myself without their help. That's just garbage. We'll talk a little bit about why that's garbage, but more importantly, the most important thing for you right now is for you to achieve the kind of success and to maximize your potential as an individual. I believe that you've been put on this earth, every one of you, to do something special. And each of you in your heart and soul, I hope you feel deep down inside, and I suspect you do, because if you ended up in a program like this, my suspicion is that you are a special individual. You have found your way to a very important network of individuals. And with that, you probably have a kernel inside yourself that's screaming inside that says, there's something I'm here to do. Maybe I haven't figured it out yet, but there's something I'm here to do. And I got to figure out what that is before I pass out of this world. And the issue is, you're not going to figure it out. And you're not going to achieve it unless you muster every damn resource you have available to you, around you. And the most important resources you could possibly have are the people around you for your success. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's the professors, it's the friends, it's the parents of friends that will afford all this. It's your own parents. It's the individuals who are there to help you. Because at the end of the day, like any organization has assets and resources. And what I'm going to talk to you today as if you're a company. Some of what I'm really doing is the same advice that I'm giving you, I'm literally giving Bill Gates. Same advice I'm giving you, I'm giving Klaus Kleinfeld. Same advice I'm giving you, I gave to all of the partners in Europe at Goldman Sachs. So, the point is, each and every one of you, if the earlier you realize the principles I'm teaching you now, the more you'll be successful and the more you'll bite into this stuff. So, with that in mind, let me do this. The first basic principle that I'd like to teach you is that it's an overarching principle, and it's that relationships are the core to your success. And I sort of delved into that. If that's true, help me define great business relationships. What are the words you'd use to describe a great professional relationship? Yeah. Trust. Fantastic. Good. A two-way street. Win-win. That's great. Yes.
Confidence on both sides.
Good. Confidence and strength on both sides. Yes. Any others? Any others on that? On great business relationships, please.
People listen to each other.
Okay, so you're going to be listen, attentive, etc. to each other. Fantastic. Yeah, please. Good. Respect. Awesome. The Retha word. So we're going to park all those words over here. Trust, respect, win-win, collaborative, listening, attentive, etc. But over here for a second, now let's deviate from that. Let's ask the questions, what are the words you'd use to describe the great personal relationships of your life? The best friends, the significant others that you have, etc. Let's assume those words are true. Trust, respect, listen, maybe listen, but trust, respect at least. But the great personal friends, what are the words you'd add to that over here? Raise your hands. Yeah. Humor, great. Affinity, fantastic. Comfort and caring. Empathy, good. Fun, good. Any others? Affection, fantastic. You could use, anybody in here have a boyfriend or a girlfriend? Love, is that a word you might want to use? Or passion, a little bit. I feel sorry for your significant others if you're not using the word passion. I mean, these are some of the words that you park over here, okay? But here's what I want to suggest to you. How many of you have ever been in a work environment? All of you in some form or fashion? Okay. How many of you have great friends that you've worked with? Raise your hands. I hope so. How many of you have bosses that you felt cared for you as an individual, sort of personally cared for you? Yes. So here's my point. The greatest and most wonderful business relationships you will ever have are personal relationships. This is a big and important point for you to remember at this stage of your lives. If you really believe this and internalize it, it will fundamentally change your life. The great business relationships are personal relationships. That's what this mentorship program is all about. It's teaching you the skill sets. It's teaching you the skill sets that you need to ultimately be the kind of success that is going to go on to create, amazing success in your life. But let me suggest, anybody know who Jamie Dimon is? Yeah, please.